Hello students. So we have already completed our first chapter, that is matter in our surroundings. Yes. So today we will be going to discuss the question and answer from this chapter. Okay. So let's begin. So these are the first four questions that is present in your chapter. Okay. So it is given in the middle of the chapter. Okay, so from this question number 1 and question number 4 is very easy. Yes, so what you have to do, only you have to mention which of these are matter. Okay, and that you all know which one will be matter. Here we all know that all feelings are all non-matter because they do not have any specific mass, and they cannot occupy any space. Okay, so we know that matter is in all the substances around us which have a definite mass and occupy space. So here love, smell, hate, thought, okay, cold, these are all non-matter. But smell of perfume, most of you have you are confused between smell and smell of perfume. So where smell is a non-matter, but smell of perfume is definitely a matter. Yes, because how we get smell of perfume, due to the diffusion of particles of the perfume in the air. Okay, so due to this, smell of perfume is definitely matter. Okay. Again, question number 4. What are the characteristics of the particles of matter? So, you all know what are the three characteristics of particles of matter? Yes, we have studied about it. So, I think you can write them very easily. So, now we'll be looking at question number 2. Okay, so I will not be giving you here the direct question. Just I will be giving you the concept of how to write the answer of the given question. Okay, so here what it is given, that the smell of hot sizzling food reaches you several meters away, but to get the smell from cold food you have to go close. Yes, so why we get the smell of hot food? We get the smell of hot food because since the temperature of hot food are higher. Yes, so when temperature is increased, what we have learned, that the energy of the particles also increases, and due to this the particles move at a faster speed. Yes, so that means as soon as temperature will increase, what will happen, the energy of the particle will also increase. Yes, that we have already seen. And since the energy of the particle increases, they move at a faster speed. Okay, so what is diffusion? Diffusion is the intermixing of particles. So if the particles will move at faster speed, so what will happen, it will diffuse quickly in the air. Yes, so therefore we also see that the rate of diffusion, that is how quickly diffusion occurs, increases with increase in temperature. Okay, so this is the thing you have to write, that the particles of aroma of hot food have higher temperature, due to which their energy increases, and as their energy increases they move at a faster speed. Okay, and due to this their rate of diffusion increases. But in case of cold food, okay, what we will have, our temperature will not be higher, so the rate of diffusion will be not as fast as that of the smell of hot food. Okay, so I think you can write the answer. So the core concept, the main concept of writing this answer is this. Okay, so I think this is very clear and it is a simple question. Okay, so now question number 3. A diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool. Which property of matter does this observation shows? So what is the property of matter does this observation shows? This observation shows that the particles of matter has have spaces between them. Yes, so particles of every matter, every kind of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas, will have some amount of space between them. Yes, so in this case water it is a liquid, and we know that liquid have higher space between the particles than that of solid, but the space between the particles in liquid is lower than that of gases. That is, gases, the particles of gases has maximum spaces between them. The particles of liquid have higher space than that of solid. Yes, and solid has minimum space between the particles. And we also know that as the space between the particle increases, the strength of force of attraction decreases. Yes, so in case of water, which is a liquid, there will be space between the particles of the liquid, and therefore that force of attraction between the particles will be lesser than that in solid. So diver can easily cut through the water without applying much higher force. Okay, so this is the simple concept, and then you can frame your answer according to this. Okay, now the other questions. So here the first question, that is, mass per unit volume of a substance is called density. Arrange the following in order of increasing density. I think this you all can do. What is density? Density is mass per unit volume. Yes, that we have seen. And so you have to increase these substances according to their density in, I guess, increasing order. Yes, in their increasing order. Okay, so question number 2a, there also you have to write the differences in characteristics of states of matter. So we have studied the characteristics or the properties of states of matter, that is every states, that is solid, liquid and gas. So you have to just mention the properties and make a table out of it. Okay, so now question number 2b. Okay, so this question is also simple, but the thing is that most of you are confused that how to frame the answer, right? So I am giving you the complete answer of question number 2b. Okay, but I request you all not to copy the answer directly. First you try to understand that what I am giving you in the answer, and then you can frame your own answers. Okay, so let's see. Yes, so 2b. So the first thing that is given, we have to comment on all this. Okay, so while commenting on this, so first thing we have to mention that if possible we have to define these properties first. Okay, so if these are mostly physical properties, okay, so first we have to define them, so what these things actually means. Okay, and then we can write any statement related to these properties about the solid, liquid and gases. Okay, so first thing is rigidity. So what is rigidity? I have given you here that the rigidity is the tendency of a matter to retain their shape when any external force is applied. So when any force will be applied, a matter, if it can retain its shape, then we say that those matter are generally rigid. And during our discussion we have seen that only solids are rigid. Yes, because they have negligible compressibility and they always try to retain their shape. Okay, so only this much you have to comment on rigidity. Next, compressibility. So what is compressibility? So compressibility is the reduction of volume of a matter by reducing the space between the particles. Yes, when we apply pressure. So what we see in case of gas, that is the spaces between the particles is larger. So what it means, when we apply pressure, so it compresses to liquid. Okay, so higher and higher pressure will apply, it will easily compress to liquid. Yes, so this is what we have to write about compressibility. And we also know that solids, since the spaces between the particles of solid is very less, so solids almost shows no or negligible compressibility. Okay, so I think this is a matter that you all know. These facts are very clear to you when we have discussed about all these properties during our discussion. So what is fluidity? So fluidity is the property of liquid and gases. Yes, because liquid and gases are known as fluids because they can flow. Clear? Very simple. So next we have filling a gas container. Okay, so what we have learned that since gases are highly compressible, due to this a large volume of gas can be easily filled in a small container by compressing it. Okay, so that is the thing you have to write here. So next, shape. So shape is a characteristic of every state of matter, and what we know that solid have a definite shape, whereas liquid and gases does not have any definite shape. Okay, and why solids have their definite shape? Because the particles in solid are tightly packed. Okay, so why they are tightly packed? Because they have a stronger force of attraction, and due to this solid will always try to retain its shape when any external force will be applied. Okay, so very simple thing. I think you have understood all, and if you have any doubt regarding this, you may ask me. Okay, so before that I would also like you to once revisit your chapter, that is once look at your chapter once, so that your concepts are more clear. Okay, so you will have no problem regarding this chapter while preparing for your exams. Okay, so next, kinetic energy. So we know that kinetic energy is the energy related to the motion of any object, or we can say that the speed of any object with which the particle moves. Clear? Kinetic energy is the energy related to the motion of the particle or speed of the particle with which it moves. Clear? So what we see, if the particles will be tightly packed, so at that scenario what will happen, that particles will not be able to move freely, and since the particle will not be able to move freely, so what will happen, their motion will be restricted, their movement will be restricted, and if movement will be restricted, they will have less kinetic energy. So in case of solid, what we see, they are tightly packed, and due to this the particles of solid cannot move freely, and since they cannot move freely, their kinetic energy is the minimum of all the three states. Okay, so particles of solid has the minimum kinetic energy. Okay, in case of liquid, what we see, that the force of attraction between the particles of liquid is lesser or weaker than that of solid, but higher than that of gas. So that means particles in liquid can move more freely as compared to particles of solid, but what it means, their movement is restricted in comparison to particles of gases. That is, the particles of liquid can move freely when we compare it to the particles of solid, but the movement of particles of gases are more free than the particles of liquid. That means the movement of particles of liquid is in between of that of solid and that of gas. So what will happen, the kinetic energy of the particles of liquid will also will be in the between of kinetic energy of solid and kinetic energy of gas. Okay, so this I have already written here. Okay, next, the particles of gases have the highest kinetic energy, because we all know that gases, the spaces between the particles of gases is maximum, so their kinetic energy, so the force of attraction of those particles will be the least. Okay, so the force of attraction between the particles of gases is minimum, and due to this what will happen, the particles of gases can move much more freely at in any direction, and due to which they will have the maximum kinetic energy. So always remember that the particles of gases have the highest energy, then particles of liquid, and then particles of solid. Okay, so this is the order of energy of particles of different states of matter that we have to remember to answer different questions related to it. We will be looking at some questions in our discussion also. Okay, so next is density. So what is density? Density is the mass per unit volume, and we know that solid have the highest density, liquids have density higher than gases but lower than solid, and gases have the least density. And why it is so, we can explain it from the spaces between the particles. Yes, so as the spaces between the particles will increase, the number of particles per unit volume will decrease. Okay, so if number of particles per unit volume will decrease, so mass per unit volume will also decrease, and if mass per unit volume decreases, we can say that density decreases. Okay, so this you have already learned. Okay, so next question number 3. A gases fills completely the vessel in which it is kept. Yes, so it is so because what we know that the force of attraction between the particles of gases is very weak. Okay, so the particles can move in any direction. Okay, so as soon as we will put the gas in a container, what will happen? The particles will move freely in the container in any direction. So as a result, what we can see that the gas will expand inside the container and it will fill the container as a whole. Okay, next question number B. Gas exerts pressure on the wall of the container. That we have already seen. The similar thing, that gases have very weak force of attraction, due to which the particles can move freely or randomly in any direction. Okay, and when it will move in any direction, at one moment of time, what will happen? It will go and strike the wall of the container. Okay, and since in gas there are many particles, so it means all the particles are at random motion. So more number of particles will hit the walls of the container. Okay, and since they will hit the walls of the container with a force, so this force will exert a pressure on the wall of the container. Okay, so this is the simple concept behind this question. Next, a wooden table should be called a solid. So in this question, what you have to write? You have to write the properties of solid that a wooden table show. Okay, so you have to write the properties of a wooden table which is related to solid. Okay, so that much you have to do, so that you all can do, I know. So I am not giving you the direct answer. Next, question number D. We can easily move our hand in air, but to do the same through a solid block of wood, we need a karate expert. Yes, so what we know, air is a mixture of gases. Okay, and there will be a huge space between the particles of gas. Okay, and due to which what happen, a person can easily move his hand through the gases, because there is lots of space and the force of attraction between the particles is also less. But what we know, solids are compactly packed. Yes, tightly packed, because they have a strong force of attraction, due to which it is not possible or sometimes not easy for us to move the hand through a solid. Okay, so this is a very important question. I need you all to have pay attention to this question. Okay, it is an interesting question, that we all know that liquids generally have lower density as compared to solid. But if you do this experiment, that if you put ice on top of water, you can see that ice floats on water. Okay, and we all know that if the density of the object is lesser than the density of liquid or water, then we can say that that particular object will float in water, and if its density is higher than that of water, then it will be submerged in the water. Yes, so in this case, why ice floats? Because ice is a solid. So in the general cases, in the standard case, what we should see, that ice should be submerged in the water, but ice floats. So why it is so? It is so because ice have lower density than water. Yes, so it is kind of an exception, that ice, even being a solid, it has lower density than water. So why it have lower density? Because if you look at this structure of ice, so what we can see, so a huge spaces are present. Yes, here huge spaces are present in between. Yes, so these spaces are present because in the arrangement of water molecule in ice, so the arrangement of the water molecule of, in ice is such that they do not allow the particles to be packed, they do not allow the water molecules to be packed tightly. Okay, and due to this, a huge gap remains in the arrangement of the particle of ice. Okay, and due to this, inside the ice, the water molecules arrangement is such that there will be a huge space, and due to this huge space their volume will increase. Okay, so if their volume increases, what we know, that density, then okay, we know density equals to mass by volume. Yes, density equal to mass by volume. So if volume will increase, so what we can say, that if the denominator increase, so the value of density will decrease. Yes, so if volume will increase, density will decrease. Yes, so in case of ice, this particular thing we observe, because of the huge spaces between the water molecules in its arrangement, the volume increases, and due to which density decreases, and due to which the ice floats in water. Okay, so I think this is clear now. So we'll be looking at the next set of question, that is, first is convert the following temperature to Celsius scale. And to convert from Kelvin to Celsius, what we have to do, the formula is, we have to subtract 273 Kelvin from the temperature which is given in Kelvin to get the temperature in degree Celsius. Okay, to get the temperature in degree Celsius scale, we have to subtract 273 from the given temperature. Okay, so I think that you all can do. So question number 2, what is the physical state of water? Okay, so here what I am saying, that the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, correct? So after 100 degrees Celsius, or at 100 degrees Celsius, so what will be the boiling point of water? So it is very easy. At 100 degrees Celsius or after 100 degrees Celsius, water will always exist as water vapor. Okay, next, for any substance, why does temperature remains constant during the change of state? But why does it remain constant? Because of latent heat. Yes, now suggest a method to liquefy atmospheric gas. Okay, so I am giving you here two methods. Okay, so number one is increasing pressure. So we can increase the pressure, or we can apply pressure on the gases so as to liquefy them by reducing the spaces between the particles, or we can also do it by decreasing the temperature. Okay, but number one, the method number one, that is increasing pressure, is practically more possible, because if we will decrease the temperature, we have to decrease it to such a lower level, so that in many cases may not be practically possible. Okay, so the next set of question, why does a desert cooler cool better on a hot dry day? Okay, so to answer this, first you have to know the working mechanism of a desert cooler. Okay, so what happens in a desert cooler? So this cooling pad contains water. Okay, so it is wet. Okay, it has water in it. So what happens, the hot air, it comes through this, here we have a fan, so it draws the hot air from the backside of the cooler through this cooling pad. Okay, so air will go through this cooling pad. Okay, so what will happen, this cooling pad contains water, so water will evaporate from this cooling pad. Okay, and those water vapor, what will happen, those water vapor will mix with the hot air. Okay, and then what will happen, it will bring the, since water is cooler than the hot air, so it will bring the temperature of the hot air down. Okay, and this mixture of water vapor and hot air, which has now cooled, okay, so it will be thrown out of the cooler through its front side with the help of a fan. Okay, so what will happen, so the hot air which was coming from behind the cooler, now it is mixed with the water vapor, and due to this its temperature is now lower, and now this air which is now cooler will be thrown out of the cooler from its front side. Okay, so the main principle of desert cooler is evaporation. Okay, so it cools by evaporation of water. Okay, so what happens in a dry day, in a dry day the humidity in air will be less. Yes, so since humidity in the air will be less, okay, due to this evaporation will be faster. Okay, so since evaporation will be faster, the cooling will be better. Okay, so here one thing we can have to mention in this question, here you have to mention about humidity also. Okay, So I am repeating that I am not giving you the straightforward answer, so do not copy this as your direct answer. Okay, so you have to frame the answer. This is only the concept what you have to write in the answer. Okay, so this thing you have to include in your answer, but this is not the direct answer. Okay, so now how does water kept in an earthen pot become cool? So what happens, the earthen pot, as you can see, the earthen pot here, in the surface of the earthen pot, what happens, here are very small holes. Okay, small pores. What are pores? Pores are tiny holes. Okay, so what can happen, the water which is inside this earthen pot, it can slowly and slowly come out of this pore in the form of small water droplets. Okay, so when it will reach the surface of the earthen pot, it will evaporate. Okay, and what we know, that evaporate always causes cooling. And why it causes cooling? Because the water droplet that will evaporate, it will absorb heat from the water inside the earthen pot, as well as from the surface of the earthen pot. Okay, so since it will absorb heat, that is the latent heat of vaporization, it will absorb from the surrounding surfaces of the earthen pot, and that also from the water. So these water droplets will evaporate. Okay, and since they will absorb heat, so the heat or the temperature of the water present inside the earthen pot will go down. Okay, and this is the classic example of cooling caused by evaporation. Okay, so the main principle is the cooling caused by evaporation. And why it is so? It is so because the water which is present in the earthen pot can come out of the earthen pot through some tiny pores present in the surface of the earthen pot in the form of water droplets, and these water droplets can evaporate by absorbing heat from the water present inside the earthen pot, and due to this the water inside the earthen pot gets cooler. Okay, so this is the simple concept. So this question number 3, why does our palm feel cold when we put some acetone, petrol or perfume on it? So this you all know because we have discussed this. So this is a direct question which is also present in your book. So I have highlighted the portion where you can find the answer. Okay, so next, question number 4, why are we able to sip hot tea or milk faster from a saucer rather than a cup? This is because the surface area of the saucer is larger than that of cup. So if surface area will be larger, evaporation will be faster. Okay, so if evaporation will be faster, we know that evaporation always causes cooling. So when evaporation will be faster, it will make the remaining tea or milk cooler quickly. Yes, so this is the reason behind it. And to answer this also, you have to first be clear about the concept of cooling by evaporation. Okay, so how evaporation causes cooling, that we have to know before answering this. Okay, so question number 5, what type of clothes should we wear in summer? We should wear cotton clothes. And why I have to wear cotton clothes, that I have discussed in my previous video. Okay, so next we are looking at the questions which are given in the exercises. Okay, so question number 1 2, this you can do. This is simple. You have to use the mathematical formula that 0 degree Celsius is equal to 273 Kelvin. Okay, and according to this you can add or subtract to get your answers for question number 1 and question number 2. Okay, so now question number 3, give reason for the following observation. Naphthalene ball disappears with time without leaving any solid. So this is because of sublimation. Yes, so this is a standard or classic example of sublimation. Question number B, we can get the smell of perfume sitting several meters away. This is because of diffusion of particles of the perfume in air. Okay, now question number 4, here you have to simply arrange it in order of force of attraction, and we can write this answer on basis of the force of attraction of solid, liquid and gas. So you can easily give the answer of question number 4. Question number 5, and question number 6a. So both of these questions are related with melting point of water and boiling point of water. So remember one thing, that at any temperature between the melting point of water and boiling point of water, so that is at any temperature between 0 degree Celsius or 100 degree Celsius, water will remain always as liquid. Okay, so from 0 degree Celsius to 100 degree Celsius, in between this, water will always remain as liquid. Okay, so at 0 degree Celsius, water will remain as solid, and at 100 degree Celsius, water will remain as water vapor. Okay, so this is the main reason or main concept while answering this question. Now question number 6b, an iron almirah is solid at room temperature. Okay, so what you have to write, you have to write the properties of solid which the iron almirah exhibits. Okay, so you have to write the properties of iron almirah which are related to a solid. Okay, so by this you can justify question number 6a and b. Okay, so now these 7 and 8. So for answering this question, you have to know the energies of the particles of different states of matter. Okay, so that we have already discussed in the earlier portion of this video. That is, we know that energy of particles of gases is the maximum, and energy of particles of liquid is in between the particles of gases and particles of solid, and the particles of solids have the least or minimum energy. Okay, so in question number 7, what is the question? That is, why is ice at 273 Kelvin is more effective in cooling than water at the same temperature? Okay, so 273 Kelvin means 0 degree Celsius, which is the melting point of water. Okay, so we know that solid, that is ice, the particles of ice has lower energy than particles of water. Okay, because water is a liquid and solid, and ice is the solid, and particles of solid will have less energy than particles of liquid. So particles of ice will have less energy than particles of water. Okay, clear? So now, since particle of ice have less energy, so it can easily gain energy from others, it can easily absorb the heat. Okay, heat from a hotter body. Okay, so from a hotter body, it will easily absorb the heat because it has, the particles already has lower energy. Okay, so the particles of ice, they are in lower energy state, so it can easily absorb, they can easily absorb the heat from another body and use that heat as the latent heat of fusion. Okay, and convert to liquid. Okay, so what is latent heat of fusion? The heat required to convert 1 kg of solid to liquid is known as latent heat of fusion. Okay, so what the ice can do, the particles of ice, since they are in lower energy, so they can easily absorb the heat as the latent heat of fusion, and they can use this heat to convert from solid ice into water. But in case of water, the particles are already in a higher energy state. Okay, so due to this, they will absorb heat, but they cannot absorb the heat as quickly as the particles of ice. Okay, so this is the answer for this particular question. So question number 8 also, we can use the similar concept, that is particles of steam, that is water vapor, which is in its gaseous state, is higher. The particles of steam or water vapor have higher energy than the particles of water. Okay, and due to this, what will happen, whenever they will get a body with that is a colder body, so in this case the skin. Okay, so what will happen, it will easily conduct the heat. Okay, so we all know that always heat conducts from a hotter body to a colder body. Yes, so since the particles of steam are already at a higher energy, so what they will try to do, they will try to give the energy to a colder body. Okay, so as soon as this steam will come in contact with the skin, so it will conduct the heat from the particles to the skin. Okay, and due to this, since the energy of the particles of steam is higher, so it will cause more severe burn. Okay, but in case of boiling water, since still it is in a liquid state, so its energy is lower than that of water vapor. Okay, so since energy is lower, therefore we can say that heat is also lower. So due to this, the burn will be less severe in case of boiling water. Okay, so remember this, that steam causes severe burn because the particles of steam contains more energy or higher energy than particles of boiling water. Okay, so next you have to name the processes. Okay, so here A, in process A, what we see that solid is converting into liquid, so this is a fusion process. In process B, we are seeing that liquid is converting into gas, so this is vaporization. In C, we are seeing that gas is converting into liquid, so it is condensation. In D, we are seeing that liquid is converting into solid, so it is freezing, or the standard name is solidification. In process E, what we are seeing that solid is directly converting into gas, so this is sublimation. And in F, we are seeing that gases is converting into solid, so it is a deposition process. Okay, so I think all the questions which is present in this chapter now you are able to write, and the concept regarding it is very clear. Okay, so I would also like to mention that some of the other questions which are important to important for you to test your concept on this particular chapter, I will be discussing it through my videos. Okay, so I will be making very small very short videos where I will be discussing some other questions which will be little bit tricky to test your concept in, and I will be posting it in my YouTube channel as well. Okay, so I would like to ask you all, to those of you who have not subscribed my channel yet, so please subscribe it, because it will not be easy for me, okay, to give you those video links directly in your what to say, WhatsApp groups, or directly to you in your class time. Okay, okay, because you will be having classes of other subjects as well. So due to this, I request you to please subscribe my channel so that you can get the notification whenever I post up such videos. Okay, so I'll be definitely discussing some question answers as well as some MCQs which will be important for your exams by making some short videos, and I will be also discussing the concept required to answer those questions. And due to this, I am asking you to subscribe my channel. Okay, and also remember that whenever you watch this video, if you have any kind of doubt, please ask me or contact me through WhatsApp. Okay, so thank you.